time with 3 kids move, it's very difficult because my older son is a high school freshman. Usually kids don't want to move, but my children is very supportive. So we moved there. I never worked. I'm homebound all the time, but we started the company, worked very hard. Eric was about kindergarten or first grade. He is a very nice boy. Basically, he played with the neighbors' kids all the time. And the children just cooperated because I'm like a 10-hour in the office in the beginning. So they are very nice kids. They holding up themselves, do the schoolwork very good. And I was kind of just put my heart in the company because I can only make it success because that's our butter and bread. Yeah. I want to treat them all the same, but Andy is my first one, and I am home. I was home all the time. So his birthday party is from 1 year old all the way to high school last year. Give him a surprise party. But for Eric, it's a little bit hard, but I do my best, because his party, I'm still doing it, but it's just not like you keep eye on the first kid that much. So I think Andy, for a lot of things, he adopted a lot of things from me. Eric, but even I have a less attention to him, but his schoolwork is the best one. It's very nice boy. And when we just moved from Boston to San Diego, the teacher tell me, how could his English be that good? And I say, basically, I just go to library a lot. I bring him those audio book, and he listened to that. So his pronunciation is really good. That's why Eric's still correcting my pronunciation, because he's been listening to those tape a lot and following all those stories. So the school here, the teacher say, how could his English be that great? And I feel like, I did accomplish something. Because 3 kids, I'm always bringing them to library. And Andy is the one at the library summertime. He got a post at the local newspaper. He read the most book in the whole county or city. When we doing this move, the children only have one request. We have to have a swimming pool. So when we moved to San Diego, Del Mar, we bought a new home. Every time we move, we always get the new home. So first thing, we digging a swimming pool for them, so they're happy. And my children are easy. They can make all the friends easily. Yeah, so there are no problem to get into the new place though. My children are born natural, good. So I was very blessed. Yeah. I am the person, I push myself to make sure my family, everything sufficient. Everything there at school, they won't lack of anything or something. I always make sure they're friends. I have to see what kind of friends they're having. And I always ask them, bring the friends home so I can see them, I can know their friends' parents. So I make sure this, so they won't go into the, wrong direction. Because I know Torrey Pine, kids are drugged and things like that, and I'm not supervising that, all the time. So this is something I feel very important. Children's friend, yeah, yeah. So I make sure it's a good family, good value, and I will invite them come over, sleep over, so I can see them how they're doing. I do those kind of things, yeah. Take them out to beach, or take them out to movie or something. Back in Taiwan, I would see, just when I was little, I see that there's I think it's Grace Kelly's Upper Society or something. I was just a elementary kid. I saw that movie 7 times. I just love American movie at that time, 1960, I think. I love all those movies, and especially the Grace Kelly, Audrey Hepburn. Oh, and I read, high school, I read a lot of 17 magazine, Vogue magazine. Those are what I like. My grandchildren, they are academically very talented, and very talented on sports too. But I think other than this, they should get into more arts. That's what I like. I would like them to be more wanting to do the performance. I was the one brought up at school. Teacher always put me on the stage, do the dancing, do the music playing. So I'm very comfortable with those. And I think all the children, I would like them to develop, other than academic, other than sports, you have another music hobby too. I think music is very important in the life. They're so good. They are good in basketball, football, ski, golfing, you name it all. They can do very good. But I think that they should enjoy the music and be more open-minded and be not too shy. That's what I like them to. Yeah, I think do the performance is you to reach other people. Using that, you're easier to reach other people, and then you share your happiness with other people too. I would like to do that too, and you probably attract other different friends. I have all different friends myself, and I think that's great. That's what held it this last year for me. I always have all different group, study group, singing group, dancing group, Zumba group. I don't have a sports group. I'm not very athletic. But I like to dance. I'm a happy mother, but I'm not a strict mother. And I want them to be happy. I want them to enjoy their family. I want them to have a lot of love. And not only to your family, to other people too. Share your happiness, helping people when they need to be helped. And always open heart. I'm more open-hearted to my age now, I can accept all kind of different people's personality, and I wouldn't feel offended. I know this is a person this way. That's it. This is all from Buddhism's teach. That's what I benefit so much. And I was thinking, if my health can get better, I really want to work something for the Buddhism, for a lot of people to understand. It's in your life, the Dharma's teaching, it's really helping you to be accepted, different person, to be forgiving people, to compassion to the people, and always a feeling you want to give something. Not I want to get something, but you would rather want to give something or spread something to reach to other people. Yeah, this is my philosophy and come from Buddhism. Just make people to feel good and confidence. I think the confidence of yourself is very important. Yeah. Thank you.
I was the baby, so I just remember her kind of taking care of me, making sure I always had enough food to eat. Growing up as the youngest, I probably did get a little bit more attention. I think her focus was, once my brother and sister were a little bit older, they could kind of take care of themselves, and she would be focused more on taking care of me. I felt like I was lucky enough to get to spend quite a bit of time with her growing up too. So that was always really special. Brother and sister sometimes said I was spoiled. I guess you could call me a mama's boy. And since I was the youngest, yeah, there was a lot of focus on that for me. I do my earliest memories are her just taking care of the household, making sure we were all taken care of, had enough to eat. I know she put a lot of effort into making sure we had activities to do. I remember just her taking me to all these different camps, YMCA, things like that, over the summer, and participating in that. My relationship with my brother and sister was really good. I think just being the baby, my brother and sister, my sister used to always tell me that they would kind of fight over who would get to play with me. So I don't remember any of that stuff because I was the youngest. Just being the youngest, I felt like my relationship with both my brother and sister has always been really great. Anytime we spend time with the family, whether it's family trips, people's birthdays, I always look forward to it. I have the most, enjoyed the most, and it's just, to me, it's always been really special having everyone together at any moment, every time. The special thing about my family is that, especially with my mom, is I think for her, family is the most important thing. So she put a lot of emphasis and focus on that, and I think it's carried over for all of us children, that we really care about our family, each other, and in particular now that we're older and we're all married, we care about our families quite a bit. So those values have carried over for all of us. I'll say this about my mother: she's very free with sharing her opinions, and she'll let you know right away. And she has an opinion about everything. So, what she'll say often is, she has an opinion. She'll just let you know it's casual. It's not a big deal. But just so you know, she's usually right too. So, just in terms of sensibilities, for her and my sister, they're probably on opposite sides in terms of just tastes and fashion. So she always kind of brings up this story about how when my sister, she's dressing my sister, even when she was 4 or 5, she'd give her suggestions on what to wear and what outfits to wear, and then my sister would take it, go back to the room, and come out with something completely different. She was probably the bigger disciplinarian in our family. My dad was focused on work, his business, whatever jobs, and back in Boston, whether it was his job, or in San Diego with his company, he'd have to travel a lot. So I think my mom made sure that, we were all behaving properly and well-mannered kids. So whenever we had guests or went out, she's the one who kind of told us to behave and be good kids. When she went to work at my father's company just to help out, it was a family-run company, I know she's always told me she felt bad about that she couldn't be home when after school, when I'd come home a lot. But to me, it was never that big of a deal. I understood what they were doing, and I think I turned out fine. So I never felt bad about that. And I think even though she has, I still feel like I spent, a lot of really good time with her. I remember just going to different places with her. One of the things she likes a lot is movies. So my family likes movies, and we used to just, go watch. She'd always take me to the movies all the time. She likes movies so much, like we'd go in for the matinee and then probably watch 2 or 3 movies that day or something like that. Yeah, when we moved out to San Diego, my dad started his company and she started working there and helping out with that, also taking care of us 3 kids. Thinking back, it's a lot. It was a lot to handle, and I think she handled the stress well. Each had an active childhood, me and my brother and sister, and none of the things that our family was going through actually ever really got in the way of that. She put a lot of time and effort into that, making sure that we had all that, those opportunities and those experiences, which is really special. I've always felt like my mom's been my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, just knowing that she's always there for me. So if anything ever happened, anything I ever needed, there's a lot of comfort and peace that I take from that, in knowing that she's always been there and everything in terms of how much she cares about me. I've always thought, there's nobody else. She is the definition of what I think a mother's heart, a mother's love really should be for her family, for her children. I've told her this a number of times. It's I am who I am because of her. I think back about my identity, my history, my family history. A lot of it is tied to her, what she's told me. She's always given me so many different stories about her family, how she grew up. The culture that I come from, me being Taiwanese American, our culture, it's been passed down a lot, and I want to definitely pass that down to my daughter too. It's something that I'm going to make sure that, for my children, what she's taught me will be passed along to her. And that's really important to me, to do that. And so she won't be forgotten. She won't be, it's just who I am, who she is part of me. And it's going to be part of my daughter too, and my family, so. No, definitely with my mom, she's pushed me a lot. Both my parents, father and mother, when I was in school, whatever grades I get, if I got a 99%, why didn't you get 100, right? I think the focus was really, just on me doing well, and they knew that it would help me later on in life too. So I think them pushing me really helped. And if it weren't for that, who knows? They always tell me I kind of I'm a little bit lazy sometimes too. So that pushing really did pay off for me later on. And just to have us be focused on each other. I would say our family's probably centered around her sometimes, but that's a good thing, I'll say this, I don't always agree with her approach or her opinions on everything, but I know where her heart is, and her heart's for me. I know her heart's for my brother, my sister, and his family. And it's a special thing. Big thing is being a good host. Making sure if we have guests, to think about them all the time. To come home do you want a drink? Do you want something to eat? Because as a host, you should be thinking about other people. So she's made me aware of that. I know that's probably the toughest thing though for me, is I've always pictured her around with my kids growing up. And I've always felt that that's really important for them to see where I came from. And so much of, like I said, my identity is really tied to my parents. She told me so many stories about her family, where she came from. She's told me, and I get to know like my grandparents on my mom's side. And I've always felt like that's so important because it shows you where you come from. That's the biggest thing for me, is to make sure that my kids know where they came from. And I mean, one of the things I think about this all the time is just passing on the same love that I got from her to them, and just spoiling them, because I know, like, if she was around for that, like, she would spoil my kids a lot.
I don't know how to say thank you to all of you, but I do follow. My heart is thank you, thank you, thank you. I keep going.
You all know this song. Please sing with us, okay?
I just want them to know, my kids to know, whether it's one or more, who my mom was and how much she loved them, how much she loved us and me. And
For this stuff and for the chicken,
yeah, where they come from. It's something they're gonna miss out on, but I'll make sure they don't miss out on it completely. How I love, or how I even know any love, is really because of the love I got from her. I told her that a lot of times because I really believe it. And for better or worse, that's kind of how I picture it and how I pass that along. I'm gonna pass it along to my children, in relationships, and that's something special. I'm so happy and thankful that she was my mom, that we've had this special relationship. I've had this time together with her. For me personally, especially, I just think it's made all the difference in the world for me. And yeah, I'm happy that I had it, and just honored, just feeling very lucky that we had that relationship. And I don't know, it's just a lot of love. That's it. Not sure how else to put it, but that's what I would say.
I'm not very much like my mom. I mean, we didn't really get along. It was really hard. It was really hard. I did feel like I grew up with a lot of expectations that I didn't fulfill, and it was really strained for 40 years. I never saw her hanging around the house in her pajamas without makeup. She always looked really good. She taught me manners and how to be a good person and how to think about others. If she didn't, it would be very different today. I would be very different. I love my mom so much. In the past year, we've gotten really close. I've gotten to see her for who she is and just really appreciate her as a person, as opposed to being my mom. I've had a lot of fun moments this year, getting to know her. We've had a lot of fun. I've laughed a lot with her. Like, she's hilarious, and I never knew that. And it's been really, really nice. But before that, no. Because I didn't forgive her. Like, I was mad about a lot of things, and it held me back from having a real relationship with her. When she got sick, something changed in me where, like, my heart opened to her, and I got to make amends because I missed out on a lot. Like, I missed out on having a mom because I pushed her away. And this year, I was able to let her in, and I got to enjoy that. So it's been really nice. And I would never trade it for anything. I feel very lucky. So I changed. That's what happened. I changed. I will miss most about my mom, let me see, her laugh. I love her laugh. It's funny because I used to hate her laugh. I thought it was so fake. And now I just love it. It makes me so happy. I mean, we sit in the hospital and we laugh. She's getting chemo and we laugh.
I don't think I can fall asleep tonight. I need that, what is that, pen for me to relax and go to sleep. Maybe I need some marijuana.
We're in the waiting room at the doctor's office and we laugh. She showed me how to be a positive person, even when times are tough. It's been a real blessing. She doesn't think about tough times. They're not in her vision. Even this. She asked us all to do individual family performances for the party. I'll sing a song, but I'm not doing a dance. None of us like to perform. Her and my dad love to perform. I think I have a lot more compassion and understanding for my older brother because he's taken care of her this whole time. I mean, like before she got sick, like he took responsibility, like she lives in his house, you know, financially he takes care of her, and I never understood the full impact of that, of having to worry about somebody. And so I think I really appreciate him a lot and everything he's done for her and how hard it must have been. Super sweet. I did not know that Eric, he cries a lot. Don't put that in. Like every time I call him to talk about something, he starts crying. Like I can't, he really is the baby of the family. And it's sweet, like he loves my mom so much, it's so sweet, but he is the baby. I know we'll each individually go through grief in very different ways. Like before, I would listen to something she'd say. She'd give me an opinion, she'd give me advice. And I'd like just be very defensive. I'd be very defensive, I didn't want to hear it. And now she'll still give me the same advice. And I can hear it, and it's funny. Like sometimes it's really funny. And then when I stop and think about it, I'm like, oh, there's some truth to that. Yeah. Can you believe it? So that's nice. But I wouldn't listen before. I just was really defensive and I felt very criticized and like I wasn't good enough. And I think a lot of that was my perception. Like I could have walked through that in a very different way. Like somebody else might have walked through it in a very different way. I took it personally. A lot is much better when you don't take it personally. It helps. All I ever wanted when I was growing up was to have a relationship with my mom. And I have that today. Like the exact one I've always wanted. So, it's pretty awesome. If I had to change things, I would change nothing. Everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be. She's having a great time. Couldn't be any better. And I don't think she's ever felt as loved as she has this year. And we got to do that for her. And we got to experience it for us.
I think my mom gave me a lot of wisdom around being thoughtful with people, and why it was important to be thoughtful and kind and generous. You know, she really values relationships. So I think I think that's probably one of the key things that I picked up from my mom, is just really understanding how important relationships are, and that you do have to put investment into people and be very thoughtful, right? And because she's a very, very thoughtful person. She's extremely generous with friends and family, and she puts everybody else first, and she's just got a heart that really wants to share things and experiences. So if she eats something that tastes great, she wants everybody to eat that.
Sea cucumber is in the deep sea. It's an animal, it's not plant. But they're good for high cholesterol people to eat. And now they say, CNN say it can cure cancer. Okay, but this is very difficult to make. Okay, so you have to, from the dry one, soak in the water for a long time, cook with a very nice broth for a week, and to come out like that. So you have to have it. Try it. The most expensive food. Okay, so go ahead, Daniel. Enjoy it.
Take a picture and eat in the same time. See if you can do that.
Yeah. Okay. My children say they don't like it, but I think maybe after tonight they will like it.
Yeah, this is the time. Wendy, need to try it. Okay?
Okay.
It's just like
Yeah.
If she saw something that she thought was really funny or interesting, she wants everybody to see it. So she's got a great way about that. Now, being her child, you can be a little bit overbearing sometimes, you know, like.
Just have them come get it themselves, Mom.
没有，因为他很晚才会到啊。
Mom, then are you getting for later?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? There's so much food.
Yeah, there's a lot of food.
Please.
There's 2 trays.
There's so much. Don't.
OK，那就把这个留下来就好。
There's so much.
Who's that for?
So much.
Who is that for?
For 那个
Swing 老师. Just go put it somewhere. I promise.
OK。
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's fine. It's fine. Just.
OK, just let her take that away then.
那你先拿一点东西。
好了好了，好好。
I don't think there's a day that would go by that if you know, when I see her, that she doesn't try to make me eat, drink, taste, try this, try this, try this. So yes, always try this.
How about yourself? Keep wanting me to eat, and you. Okay, Andy.
And it all comes from a really good place. But you know, after 47 years, 48 years of try this, it's a lot. It's one of the very special traits that she has, and I think that's why she has so many friends, and it's so easy for her to make friends. She's got just a very kind nature and way about her. Coming to the States to study, I think, was a big shock for her ecosystem, and then having a child while still in school, in graduate school, having to raise a child, I think all of that was really stressful for her. She had to figure out a lot of things, right? Like cleaning, cooking, changing diapers, buying groceries, all those type of things. So I think, you know, she's a very resilient person. I'm really happy that we got this year. I'm really happy for Anita. I'm really happy for my mom. That was a relationship that I thought was really challenged, and to have this year and to see the two of them really figure things out and put things put things to bed that needed to be put to bed. My mom can frustrate probably mostly just the kids and maybe my father. I don't think it's nothing that comes from a bad place, but it's a very single-minded kind of mentality, believing that what she wants is what everybody wants. I think it's very difficult for her to recognize that people are all different. People have different opinions, different likes, dislikes, habits. Anything that she experiences that she really likes, she wants you to be part of it. And so it always comes from a good place, you know. But it's the tenacity that can be a little frustrating. And even after all these years, right? It's like, it just doesn't stop. But I don't think she really ever realizes that we've grown up and, you know, we're not 10. That's how parents, moms tend to be. So it's nice, you know. While frustrating and maddening, you know, at the end of the day, when you go to bed, you still appreciate it. The way she, you know, a lot of the way she is, I think the things that would drive me crazy, actually, I think I just would modify my behavior to be the opposite, quite honestly, and try not to be as pushy about certain things. You know, like my kids don't want to eat something, yeah, so be it. I'll just tell them it tastes great, and it's their loss. And one day, if they want to try it, they have the opportunity. But you know, I think I've taken on more of an approach of, you know, to each his own. I'll show you and tell you what I think, but hey, at the end of the day, it's your choice. And you know, I think that's probably due to a lot of those experiences through like being with her. You know, like it's just she can be very pushy, very pushy. I'm sure I'll miss it, but it's a hard. She's very stubborn. She's a very stubborn person. You know, I've always felt like my mom was going to be my responsibility, and I was, you know, it was my duty to make sure that you know, she had a comfortable life, doing, you know, the things that she really enjoyed, and I was happy to do it. I mean, there's like this. I don't think I ever thought, you know, I don't think I've ever felt it was a burden. I've never felt like it was something I didn't want to do. It was something that I really wanted to do, and I was happy to be able to do it. I always thought about how challenging it was for her to raise 3 kids, you know, being raised the way she was, not having to do anything, and then waking up to 3 kids crying, screaming, living in a new country, having to learn a new culture, and being able to do something for her was something I was really happy to do, and grateful that I have the ability to do so. Well, you know, I'll miss a lot of things about her. I think I'll just miss her. I'll just miss her being there. Unconditional love is not something that comes everywhere. So it comes from anyone. So I'll miss a lot. I'll miss a lot about her, but mostly I'll just miss knowing that she's there. You know, it's very comforting knowing that she's around, and it's very scary knowing that she's not going to be there. Yeah. The good thing is we have lots of memories. I think we've had a lot of opportunity over the last year to do things together, so we've got a lot of good memories. And I'm happy she's got a lot of great friends, you know, to spend time with. So we have very, very different interests. She loves to sing and she loves to dance, and I have no interest in doing either. It's difficult for me to want to participate in any of those things. It's just not my thing. But I'm really happy that she has a lot of friends that she can do that with, and it makes me really happy that, you know, she's able to be independent and find ways to find people to do the things that make her happy, even though it's not me, right? I wish she was a little more accepting that, you know, I just don't like to sing or dance. Just as I'm accepting that she doesn't want to go play golf or go in the water or do any of those things. She cares more than the average bear. And it comes out in ways that you appreciate and ways that can drive you crazy. But it all comes from a place of genuine love but I, you know, one thing that I choose to do is to always think about where she's coming from, and it's always coming from a place of care and love, and because I think that says the most about who she is, and it's really hard. To not be able to make it better. I don't really even play golf with friends anymore. I just play with the kids and Joyce, because you know how precious time is, and you should spend it with those that mean the most to you. It's these things really like force you to think about priorities. You don't have unlimited time. You only have a very finite period of time, and you must choose wisely who and what you do with that time. This year has really helped me figure out how to prioritize that. There's nothing that I think is more important than spending time with family. You know, friends are great, but you know, your kids and family, it's just different. I'm grateful for the sacrifices that she made for us. I'm grateful for her always thinking about us. The one thing that touches me the most is anytime we go visit her at her house. You know, she's always at the window, waving goodbye as we drive away. Every single time. Never once has she not been at the window to say goodbye. And I'll miss that. I think I'll miss that the most.